The special edition Animal Crossing Switch looks adorable, and I personally love mine, but even after 9 months after its release, it's still being either sold out everywhere or scalped to bits online. Well, good news, because the stars have finally aligned. After months of waiting, all the parts have fallen into place, and you can now make your own Animal Crossing Switch. A proper Animal Crossing Switch, all for less than just $35. But first, here's something I need to tell you. This is not the real Animal Crossing Switch. This is. It's practically indistinguishable, and I'm going to show you how you can turn your dinky old Switch into a complete Animal Crossing Switch that looks identical to the real thing. Let's get started. So this is my friend's brand new Switch. She wanted to hop on the Animal Crossing train with everyone else, but unfortunately she wasn't able to cop one of those limited edition Animal Crossing consoles. Even now, at the time of editing this, they're still being scalped for way above MSRP. So she settled for a regular gray one. She was nice enough to let me borrow it for a video, so we're going to spec it up and return it to her nicer than how we found it. Now, I've seen people attempt to make their own Animal Crossing Switches, what with stickers, cases, skins. They're fine, but I can assure you this is the best possible method. We are going to be using a ton of parts for this, and of course, everything that you need will be in the description down below. First, let's start with the easiest part. If you were to take anything from this video, I would recommend this. Watch how easy it is to replace a backplate. This is a 1-to-1 copy backplate from the special edition Animal Crossing Switch. It costed me just $11. I'm going to take out the Y000 bits for this and get to unscrewing. Okay, so there's 4 screws on the back you need to take out. If you're having trouble screwing them out because they're stripping or something like that, try a Y00 bit instead. It tends to help out a lot. Alright, we're switching to the Phillips now. Alright, there's 2 on the bottom. One on the top. And when we get to the sides, you only need to take out the center screw. All the other screws are irrelevant. They just want attention. Don't give it to them. Then do the other side. Finally, there's one last screw under the kickstand. And look, that's the inside of your Switch. Isn't it pretty? Oh, and look, there's a cartridge left in there. Hey, a little fun fact, licking these is actually really sweet. It tastes like Skittles. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Alright, I know that we're just eager to just slam on the new backplate, but first, there's a couple things we gotta transfer over first. Like, the cartridge cover flap thing. I don't know what they call this. Alright, up next is the grills. Now, at this point, you might have noticed that your backplate didn't come with any pre-installed grills on it. Now, you can technically peel off the ones from your old backplate and put it on the new one, but I find it easier just to buy new grills. It's only like $3 and it saves a bunch of time. Now, don't worry if you accidentally bend them like me, since literally nobody's going to see these once you close it up. Nice. Alright, and lastly, the kickstand clip needs to be transferred over. Otherwise, your kickstand won't work anymore. Alright, we're all done. Now we just screw everything back in. And the backplate is done. How cool is that? I'm telling you, this is the easiest mod you can do on your Switch, and the payoff is just so worth it. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Alright, so the next part of this transformation is a little bit more difficult, but it's the part that everybody wants. That's right, we're going to be shell swapping the controllers. These costed me about $20 for the shells, and as you can see, they're practically indistinguishable from the real Joy-Cons. The only thing that would give it away, honestly, is unfortunately the back doesn't have the logos on the stuff on the back part. But you know me, I found a version that does have these logos on the back. I'll leave a link in the description if you prefer those. Now, I've done multiple Joy-Con swaps in the past at this point, and people were yelling at me in the comments because I unplugged everything the first time around. You guys know that people do things differently, right? It was my first time, relax. Anyways, I'm going to try the whole keep every cable and ribbon attached method and see how that goes. I'm going to go quick, so if you're new here, I've made a more detailed and beginner-friendly tutorial in the past. Just look on my channel, you'll see it. I only have like 4 videos anyways. Okay, so at this point in doing this, I realize, while yeah, this is technically faster, the majority of people that are going to be doing this are beginners, and someone's bound to tear a cable with this method if they're not careful. I don't know, maybe I'm just underestimating you guys. Would you be able to pull off this method on your first time, or do you feel like you'd mess it up? I would love to hear where you stand on this, because personally me, I don't, if this is my first time, I don't think I'd be able to pull this off. Yeah, man, I don't know about this method. It feels awful. Thankfully, I'm a bit more familiar with the inside of the Joy-Cons, so nothing broke, but I would not recommend this if this is your first time. I really feel it's worth just taking a little more time and unplugging everything before swapping it all out. You're much less likely to break something, especially if this is your first time. I explained this much more in depth in my Lavender Joy-Con video. Go watch that after you're finished here. It's a really good video. Now for the triggers. Here's me using the old jam and twist method. I tend to plug the ribbon in first before screwing it back in place, since it's much harder to plug it in once it's secured to the middle piece. Surprisingly, the triggers on this felt really, really good. Like, really, really good. I would recommend this. Then we can grab the back piece and attach the rail to it, and we can close it up. Ah, dang. I forgot to buy the inside buttons. Oh well. I'll leave some in the description for you anyways if you want to swap those out too. And look at that! It looks damn near identical, and the triggers feel great. That's a relief. Onto the left Joy-Con. The process on the left Joy-Con is similar, but with less parts, so try and keep up. Now, I'm sure there's going to be that one guy in the comments that says, "Oh, it doesn't look like the real one, the colors are 0.20% slightly off. Also, you look like a woman," but I can assure you, the camera doesn't do it justice. Take my word for it, I own both of these systems. Notice I'm able to go a little bit quicker on this one since there's just less parts to deal with. The black ring around the joystick is meant to keep dirt out of the inside of your joystick, so be sure to transfer it over. Dirt inside the joystick tends to be one of the biggest reasons for Joy-Con drift. Alright, let's start putting the buttons back in. Be sure your L button is also in place by this point. I forgot to film that part. Screw in the rail. It's all ready to be closed up, and we're done. Looks really, really good in my opinion. Alright, here's what it looks like all put together, and man, it looks perfect. The backplate looks amazing with all of its little details, and the Joy-Cons look adorable. Again, the only thing missing is the marks on the back, but link is down there if you want to fix that. Now, at this point, we're about $35 in, and if you want, you can stop right here. If your only goal was to make an Animal Crossing Switch, you're good to go. Enjoy it. But I'm going to go all the way and attempt something that I haven't seen many people do on YouTube before. That's right, we're doing a complete Switch dock shell replacement. All the way through. Exactly identical, just like everything else. This one was $22. I've seen people do tutorials on replacing the front faceplate of the dock, but never swapping the entire thing. So because of that, I have almost no frame of reference. So let's just see how far we can get. First I grab my Y000 bit, and there are 8 screws we got to take off the back. Once that's off, we get our first look at the insides of the dock. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. You know when you take a first bite into a sandwich and it's like 90% bread? That's what this feels like. Anyways, there's 2 Phillips screws we gotta take off right here. And the tiny board itself is just held in with some clips. That blue ribbon is what connects to the Switch itself. Unplug the LED light, and it's out. Okay. There's 1 more screw under the board that we have to take out, along with 5 more screws. They're all the way in there though, so you might need a thinner screwdriver to get to them. After that, the dock essentially splits in half, and I can remove the LED indicator. We'll save those for later. Now, this middle part is what we're going to be focusing on the most, because that's where most of the stuff is. Four screws holding the USB-C port, and I'm going to pause it right here. because I need to tell you something I didn't realize until it was too late. Okay, so you see all of this? Yeah. None of this ever actually shows through on the dock when it's assembled. So even though the kit I bought included all the proper colored replacement parts, it's pointless because no one's ever going to see them. Save yourself the trouble and the cuts that I went through, and just leave this part the way that it is. Anyway, so the part that does show up inside the dock when you slide in, I'm just matching them up to make sure that they look the same. The inside part goes in, along with the springs, and I just line it up with the bottom part. Screw that in, and we're good to go. Alright, now we're ready to reassemble. That was honestly the worst of it. Everything else is just putting it back together in the new shell. We're going to line up the middle part with the ribbon facing outwards and route it through the inside. We're going to grab the new faceplate and install the LED indicator. There's also some rubber pieces that gotta slide in. This is just to make sure that the screen doesn't get scratched when it's docking in. And finally, we can put back on the faceplate.
Carefully. Carefully. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay.
Now we just gotta screw everything back in. Before we close this up, I want to be sure that it's actually still working, so I'm going to plug in the dock to power and test it out real quick. Fingers crossed. And it's working! Nice! Yes! Just gotta screw in the last final screws. And we're done. Alright, just a few more touches. Gonna put on some new rubber feet since mine didn't come installed with any. And grab the serial number from the old one, just to maintain consistency. Alright, the dock is done. Just like everything else so far, it's near identical. This dock really brings the entire project together. Alright, I want to make a couple more touches to make this switch 100% complete. Real quick, checking the Joy-Cons still show them as the original gray. Luckily, there's a program we can use to change that. Again, link is going to be in the description. All we have to do is just hold the sync button on the controller, pair it through Bluetooth. You'll know it's working if the home button is glowing on one of them. Launch the application and just pick the right colors. I managed to find the precise hex color values for the original Animal Crossing Switch Joy-Cons. I'll put them in the description so you can do it yourself too. Then we just gotta repeat the process for the other one. And we're good to go. Identical to the original. Oh, by the way, also, if you play Animal Crossing and you program the colors that I use, someone will mail you an Animal Crossing Switch in the game. Isn't that cute? Lastly, if you want to have matching Joy-Con grips, good news, you can buy those too. Though I don't think I've ever seen anyone use these in public. These costed me, I think, about $5. And we're done! A brand new 1-to-1 replica of the special edition Animal Crossing Switch. Indistinguishable from the original and just as stunning as the real one. The pastel green and blue Joy-Cons look great. The backplate has all the intricacies of the little villagers, and the dock is miles better than some of the alternatives I've seen online. This is my biggest project on this channel so far, and I'm really proud how good this came out. Of course, I'll have links to literally everything I use in this video, including the toolkit, down below in the description. Consider leaving a like on the video if you found this useful or entertaining. Let me know in the comments if you're considering trying this out, or if you managed to already get Animal Crossing Switch, and thank you for watching.